speech will have some common points with the speech of the person of Bosch yesterday, but I hope it will be more complementary than redundant. I hope so, and we shall be able to discuss it at the end. What I've tried to do is to start from the same basis. What is Industry 4.0 and what we call in France more often factories of the future, and we can also try to see why we don't use exactly the same terms. And what I've tried to do is to see what are the technologies. We already saw them yesterday, I think, and how they can be used for improving the production system. And which is more important, what are the questions that have to be solved in the future. That's why I'm afraid that my speech will have more questions than answers, but I think that questions are much more interesting, so we should see. The first point is certainly the difference between Factory 4.0 and Factory of the Future. And in our opinion, perhaps Factory of the Future is wider. It's not only on the digital things but also on organization. It's also on knowledge management, for instance, things which are closest to the human being and perhaps not only technologies. So first thing, what is the Factory of the Future? And when I was a student, it's a long time ago, this is the idea that we had. It was what we call in France l'usine sans homme, the factory without man. It was, and at this time, 30 years ago, it was something nice, because we were very excited in the automation and in things like that. Now we think that this kind of thing is perhaps not so good, and not enough for the challenges that we have to handle now. But what we fear in France, especially, we can discuss on the context of the different countries afterwards, is that the Factory of the Future could be that in France, because it decreases very, very quickly, and we have to make something for trying to avoid such kind of thing. And it's interesting to notice that in the next 5 years, the government has tried to put a lot of money in sustaining industry in France, which was not the case for the 10 years before that. So our main problem now is how to preserve our industrial network, because we had a very efficient industrial network and it's now collapsing very quickly. So of course, it's very, very classical to say that we have to analyze our strong points and our weaknesses. And I'm not sure that all the countries have the same weak points and strong points. But in France we consider, and it was also said by the person from Bosch yesterday, that we need to redefine the Factory of the Future, but in order to do it, we also need to redefine the product of the future, because it's not possible to think about the factory without thinking about the product. And this is very important. So, what are our weaknesses in France? And we can discuss afterwards if you think that you have the same, but I see people from Germany and I'm sure that the weaknesses are not the same. So for us, the labor cost is too heavy. It's something very, very clear. But also there is a lack of flexibility in France. And perhaps you heard that the new government will try to begin to solve this problem this summer, because it's considered as very urgent, and they will modify the law in order to allow more flexibility in the work. On the other side, we think that we have strong points. It can also be discussed, but the first strong point is that we have high technical skills in design and manufacturing. So we should be able to define new products, able to find our customers. We think that this is a strong point. Another is, even if it's not well known, France is a very productive country. We have very efficient workers. The fact is that we work less than others, but when we work very intensively. So this is quite some kind of good point. And also we are in Europe. And of course, all the companies want to settle in Asia, in China, and so on. But Europe is a very strong market, and we are very close to a very strong market. So we are really in position to satisfy the customers very quickly. And this is very different from China, for instance, which is still very far from here. So when you think about all this, it's very common to say that, I will not teach you anything here, it's very common to say that we need products with high added value, because if the product is simple, if you work for the bottom of the pyramid, if there are much more efficient countries in Asia, for instance. So high added value, of course customized products, because if you have to customize the product, you have to react very quickly. And we are in position to react very quickly because we are close to the market. So this is very important. It's not a constraint for the manufacturers, it's a luck. It's really what should allow us to be more competitive tomorrow. And also product with short lifetime, and always for the same reason, because we have to be very flexible, we are close to the market, we should be able to know the needs very quickly. So our strong points are here. We have to encourage people to want new products, more complex products, added value products, and short life products. So what we need, and the person from Bosch said, I think exactly the same yesterday, is that we need a more flexible, very reactive and efficient, and still efficient, but efficiency, I think it's something well known now, production system. And in order to do this, we can discuss about what is possible. We can play on organization, we can play on layout, we can play. And something very important these last years is that new technologies have arisen. So I'm sure you also have plenty of nice reports like that, that the public bodies in France and in all the countries have published lists of technologies that should be able to help us. And which is more important is that they gave a lot of money for launching projects on these new technologies. So when you see the technologies, most of them have been mentioned yesterday, but they are very important. Active materials, sensors, big data, green chemistry, additive manufacturing, artificial intelligence, and so on and so on. And something very funny now is that the technologies exist, but we don't really know what to do with them. For some of them it's quite obvious, but for others, trying to add value using these technologies is not very obvious. So during a lot of years in manufacturing, we had some needs, and we wanted to look for technologies able to fill these needs. And now it's the reverse. The technologies are here on the table, and we don't always know how to play with them. So I will try to show you with very concrete examples what we can try to do with these technologies. Yesterday, the person also mentioned a McKinsey report, and so we have the same list of technologies, and because it's McKinsey, it's more challenging, it's disruptive technologies. But if you look at what are these technologies, they are very similar to the former ones. And of course, you can find the same at the level of Europe. And you all know EFRA, for instance, coming from H2020. And they have another way to structure the new technologies. But if you look inside these points, advanced manufacturing, adaptive and smart manufacturing, and so on, you will find the same technologies. So I think that we agree on the technologies. What has to be found now is how to use them. And in France, we have done it through what we call pôle de compétitivité, and perhaps a good translation, or the translation would be clusters for competitiveness or something like that. So there was the idea 10 years ago that the different areas in France have to be specialized, because you cannot be good in all the sectors. So for some of them, it was automotive, for instance. For some of them, it was agri-food industry. For some of them, it was chemistry. And if you look at the south, I come from Toulouse, the aeronautic industry is very, very strong here, with Airbus, for instance, but also Dassault and small manufacturers like Socata, for instance. So we belong to this cluster, and the role of these clusters is very, very important. It's to gather
end customers, final customers, providers of solutions, that means consultants and people who edit software and so on, and also academics. We have our place in this cluster, so it's very important. It's a place where we can discuss first, and then the idea is to promote projects and to find some funding for the projects. So the clusters don't have money for the projects, but they can put a label on the project, and then it's much easier to get some money afterwards. So if you look at this whole aerospace valley, I think the numbers have still increased. It's something like 900 members, most of them are companies. I think that 40% are large companies and 60% SMEs. And I will speak about SMEs because it's not so easy to work together. Large groups, SMEs, it's not the same logic, for instance, and not the same fundings, of course. In 10 years, something like 900 projects have been labeled, and among these projects, more than 30, it was I think 60% get funding. So it's very important, and it's rather efficient, I would say. And of course, we shall come back to the factory of the future. There is a cluster, a sub-cluster, factory of the future, and I'm involved in this cluster as facilitator, like his colleagues. And if you look at who are the persons involved in this 10 of factory of the future, you will find people from Airbus, all the declinations for Airbus, Airbus Innovation Group, Airbus Defense and Space, so all the entities. You will find Dassault. You will also find people from consultancy firms like CGI, and people who sell mainly robotics, so ICIEOM and ICIEOM+ADINGOR+IISE+AIM+ASEM, for instance. So this is not all the working group, it's only the facilitators. And in the group, when we have some workshops, we have between 50 and 100 companies represented, so it's rather efficient. So in the group, we have tried to summarize the factory of the future using these 5 topics. And of course, it's not so easy than it seems, because these topics are overlapping, but I think that we have to accept it. So these topics are digital factory. I will only show very quickly some slides on that. Smart factory, I think that this is a little bit more than Enterprise 4.0, because here is knowledge, artificial intelligence, and so on. Human aspects, of course, the human aspects are everywhere, but some industrial partners wanted to focus on some points, like aging, like training, like the evolution of the law, and so on. Green factory is very, very important. But I would say that we are a little bit disappointed by the reluctance of the companies to really invest in that. If they earn money, they want to put money here. So if it's energy saving and so on, they are very happy to do it. But if we find a better way to do something, but a little bit more expensive, they shouldn't at once. So on this point, I would say that it's a little bit disappointing. For most of the companies we know, green manufacturing is a way to earn money, and it's not really an investment on the environmental aspects. And of course, the connected factory, but I will go quickly on that point. So, I think that all of you know digital mockups, and so using Katia and so on, you can make a digital mockup of the product. But what is also important now is that you can do the same with the manufacturing system. And this is very important in order to develop at the same time the product and the manufacturing system. So in my lab, we are mainly focusing on the manufacturing system, even if in the video that I prepared here, you will see that it's mainly on the product. So this is very classical. We have a virtual reality room, and the guy uses an haptic arm in order to be able to navigate into the product. And in the same way, but we cannot show it right now because it's done with the company. We can do it in workshop. So we can test the ergonomy of the workstations, we can test a lot of things, and it's, well, very, very nice. It's very nice, but at the moment we have only 2 or 3 applications, because the people don't really know what to do with that. Of course, there are obvious things that you can do. You can check the product, you can check the workshop, but you should be able to do something else. And here are some questions. For instance, we have a lot of problems in data visualization. It's very funny to think that in planning, for instance, we are using Gantt charts which are old of 50 years. And what could we do with a 3-dimensional Gantt chart, for instance? What can we do concerning key performance indicators, when we can not only show them on a flat page, but move with them, try to use different aspects, different things. So we are working now on this, how to use virtual reality not only for inspecting the product or the workshop, but also for visualizing information, visualizing the data in more efficient ways, in more synthetic ways. So this is very, very important. And we have also nice applications with, it's very close to the games, with virtual places where the people can meet. You can have an avatar, and you can discuss around the product, for instance. So you can put a digital mock-up in this area, and then the customers and the subcontractors can discuss around the digital mock-up. So this is working. But some minutes before I was talking about SMEs. Yes, but these technologies are much too expensive for SMEs. So for instance, Airbus has bought 60 rooms of virtual reality. And now he would like his subcontractors to come with him and to try to see what is possible together. But it's much too expensive for them. So there is an increasing gap between the large companies able to use these new technologies and the small ones very afraid of the fact that if their customers try to implement these type of things, they will be left on the side of the road. So there is a great potential here, but also a great risk to focus on large companies able to master these technologies and to forget the small ones, which are very important. I put also additive manufacturing here because everybody knows about prototyping, rapid prototyping, but perhaps not everybody knows that now it's possible to do real parts, metallic parts. And in the aeronautic industry, they are very interested in that. And they are doing now real parts in additive manufacturing, of course with laser and with things like that. But, so now the question is not anymore only on rapid prototyping. The question is, how will the supply chain be bonified by the fact that you can move information and not parts? You can have a machine like that in a place and only ask your subcontractors to send you the files so that you can speed up the exchanges. So some of the questions here are, what about spare parts? Is it realistic to keep inventories of spare parts, or is it not better to manufacture the parts when they are needed? So this will be really very different in inventory management. So we have to ask questions on that, and of course the main problem here is the cost. At the moment, the machines are very expensive, the processes are very expensive, so at the moment it's better to keep parts, even if it's during 1 to 3 years, than to manufacture them using additive manufacturing. But in some years, in 2-3 years, it will be very different. So we have also to be able to answer to these things. What will be inventory management in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, especially for aircraft, where the parts are very expensive and have to be stored during decades. Smart factory. So smart factory is one of my favorite topics because I'm mainly specialized in artificial intelligence. And it has been said by a lot of people, but I like this sentence. From information-based factories to knowledge-based factories. But for many people it's only words, because for many people the difference between knowledge and information is not very clear. So in fact, what is most often retained is that knowledge is a way to create new information. It's a way to make inferences. So you have as a basis information, and then you can infer new information using knowledge. So this is very important. And we have to help the companies to identify, structure, share, and reuse knowledge, because their experience is very important. But most of the experiences are stored in computers. And now the problem is to put the knowledge out of the computers. And of course, I will speak about data mining and big data in some minutes. So what has been done in knowledge management? Perhaps you know that 50 years ago, we were very fond of expert systems. That means that the idea was that experts could explain their reasoning and we could code the reasoning in the computers. It works. It works for very simple applications. But most of the time, the very good experts are unable to explain how they do for solving problems. So we have to find more efficient ways to gather knowledge. And efficient ways is perhaps to try to think about solved cases. And when you speak about artificial neural networks, it's this case. You have very often, you don't know how the problems have been solved. Perhaps it took 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, but you have examples. And you certainly know that neural networks are able to generalize on the basis of examples. And something funny is that we have billions of neurons, but when with an artificial neural network, with 10, 20 neurons, you can solve very complex problems. So this is very interesting and very exciting. And of course, it's the base of what we call now machine learning, deep learning. It's how to create a system that will learn by itself at the end. And you certainly know that for the neural networks, it's done using the weights of the connections between networks. So this is one point, first step, second step, and now we are in the third step. Now we would like to be able to create knowledge on the basis of unstructured data. Because for case-based reasoning, for instance, you need to have a very strict organization of the database. That means that you have to know first what you will do with the knowledge in order to know how to structure information. And now the problem is different. Now the problem is when the people have stored information for decades without any purpose, how is it possible to use it in a new way? To use it for solving new problems? So this is, for instance, the case for data mining and big data. And we have tested this on the maintenance domain, for instance. I will speak about it.